Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. This is our first interview of the year. So I'm very happy here with Laurie Thorp, that I'm sure everyone knows her, but maybe not everyone knows her story. So welcome, Laurie.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Really happy. Always happy to reconnect with the Brennan community because there's nothing like it, right?
Yes, nothing like it.
Yeah.
So, as I was saying, we all know you, and we were fortunate to have you as a teacher. But I personally don't know your story, so I would love to hear it. How did you ended up in Barbara Brennan Healing School, and when?
Okay, let's see. I started in 92 and graduated in 96. And here's how I got there. I was a single mom. I had 2 young children. I had no idea how I was going to support them. You know, I had done a lot of different things. I had been a baker in New York. I had managed retail stores in New York. I had done real estate, almost like you name it, I had done it. I'd been an actress in New York. And I really, really didn't know how I was going to support these kids with a flexible schedule. And I was reading the Omega Institute catalog. And I read their little 3-paragraph blurb about a workshop that was being taught by Brennan. And I had not read her books. I did not know about energy healing. And I remember I was sitting out on the deck and I read this, and I promise you, it's like the lights came on. And as one of my children used to say, it suddenly felt like my blood was flowing in the right direction. And I was, sitting there sort of vibrating with this, and I heard a voice, and I didn't used to hear voices too often. And the voice said, "This is what you're going to do with your life."
Okay.
I said, "Yeah, right." Yeah, okay, sure. No, this is what you're going to do with your life. And then, as is my way, I got sort of hostile and belligerent and said, okay, fine. This is what I'm going to do with my life. You make it happen. Because I don't even have the money to buy gas to go across town. You make it happen. Okay, the voice said. And okay, the voice did it. There were step by step. A friend of mine called me that very day and said, "Hey, I'm going to Omega such and such a weekend. Want to come?"
No.
I said, "I really do, but I just don't have the money." He said, "I have an extra bed in my room. At least you have a bed." I said, "Okay." Then my father called, and he knew about Omega. He had actually taken me to Omega some years before. And I told him about it, and he said, "I'll pay your tuition." And then I thought, maybe I better call my ex-husband and see if he could keep the kids. Of course he could. Then my mother called, I don't know, another few days later. And I told her, and she said, "I'll buy your airfare."
No. Laurie, like that?
Like that. Is that the wildest? I mean, I suspect that a lot of people have equally synchronistic and miraculous ways that we get there.
Yes.
But it's like, if we're supposed to be there, we are supposed to be there. And so that was just to the workshop. Sorry, I didn't even say that part. That was just the workshop. And I won't go into the detail about what happened at the workshop. I think you can read it on my website somewhere because it's quite a story.
Okay.
And
which is your website? Which one?
LaurieThorp.com.
Okay.
No E on Thorp.
Okay.
Anyway, after that workshop, I was so shaken shaken I couldn't believe that this was really true. You know, I had had high sense perception experiences that had just blown my mind, and couldn't believe it was true, and kind of figured I needed to find out for real whether this is true. It was all I really wanted to do. And of course, as the universe will do, the funding came in, I found people to keep the kids, and I guess you could say the rest is history, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
So you graduate 96.
right.
And then you immediately you start the B.
Well, you know what? It's the teacher training has had several iterations since 1996. They didn't have an advanced studies program then. They didn't have a BIP training then. They just had teacher training. You apply, and if you're accepted, you go right in as an assistant teacher. And so I applied, and I actually, by I think my sophomore year, I remember saying to one of the teachers, or maybe a senior, saying, I want to teach here. And she said, you just hold that in your intention, and I bet you will be teaching here. So I applied and started teaching immediately. It was definitely trial by fire. And I don't know, certainly doing the work and being a student is quite magical, but being able to teach was, because I retired from teaching at the school in 2016. So I taught there for 20 years.
20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So what happened? So you were teaching there, and now since 2016 until now, what?
Yes. Gosh, do you want the truth?
Yes.
Okay. I really didn't know. So I had a private practice all along, right, from the time I graduated. But I really didn't know what it would be like to not be teaching, because I'd been in the community for 24 years as a student, and then 20 years as a teacher. And so now it's been 3 and a little more years since I left. And it has been, I don't know what it's like for students when they leave after 4 years, because I didn't leave. But it's such a
it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. Exactly. I mean, you remember it, right?
Yeah, it's really tough. That's why we are doing this, like creating community, because
exactly.
You finish your 4th year, and then it's like suddenly you are all in your own, like,
Mm-hmm.
So.
And
we're a container, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When we're at school, we're in that amazing synergistic container of light, of healing, of intention, of prayer, the sacred container that's there. And I'll have to say, it's particularly the first winter, although I knew I had made the right decision, I really didn't know. I mean, I kept working, but still, like, I didn't know. I didn't know what was next. I didn't know how to, really clueless. And so, meditated every morning, particularly in the winter. This is what I kept hearing. I'd meditate, and I would say, please, God, please just give me some guidance. Please, like, what's next? Where's my path? This is still my meditation, is who am I? What am I doing, and where am I going? That's my meditation. So every morning, please, God, just show me the way, give me guidance, help. And every day, all I heard, I got guidance, all right, that said, sit in the silence. Okay. So I'd sit in the silence a few minutes and go, yeah, but could you just give me a little guidance? Yes, sit in the silence. And that was true for just about 2 years. Really coming on 3 years. And just in the last 6 months, so having been out of the community, in person for 3 years, it's like whatever needed to integrate and recalibrate, and I really don't have the words. It's just starting to happen. So I feel like a metamorphosis is starting to happen. And I really don't know what I'm going to be doing next.
Wow. So, this is very powerful, Laurie, because as you said, it's been 2.5, almost 3 years. And it's okay. I don't know yet what's my next step. But right now you have your healing practice.
Yeah, so I still have a healing practice, and I've done some teaching, small groups locally. I had some people from a town about an hour and a half away come say, whatever you want to teach, we want to take. But it's all been fine. But the deep fulfillment, whatever that next wave is, it's still coming into form. It's still in the holographic sort of, coming into the physical. Yeah. So I feel like, that I don't know how I feel. Excited, terrified, committed, not knowing. Like I know one step. That's it. One step at a time. It's like, and again, I know I'm preaching to the choir, because we as students always experience this. It's like, we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. It's like being blind. It's like walking in the dark. It's blind faith, feeling our way, stopping to listen, sitting in the silence.
And you know what's coming for me right now that you are sharing, Laurie, is that the beauty and the power of being and not doing. Of being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And can we let our being inform every step of doing, right? Rather than doing informing our being. Again, I just keep wanting to go,
Yeah. What's next? What I need to do right now?
Yeah, and that even though we've been doing it for how many years, right? Like this practice of waiting, listening, waiting. It's still, even though we've been doing it for years, every new time, it's almost like the depth of the unknown. It's even deeper, or bigger, or feels that way anyway. So we have to just keep coming back to right here, right now. Show me the way. Listen, this is really interesting. Who was I just reading? Can't remember what I was reading, but the message was, it's from somebody like way, way, way hundreds and hundreds of years ago, some philosopher or theologian. And what this person said was, their prayer was, who am I? What am I doing? Why am I here? It's like, okay, at least I'm in good company. And do you think we always, I don't know, do you ever feel like you know where you're going?
Yeah, no, we have a vision, right? We have a vision, like sometimes we have a vision, sometimes it's that being in the unknown. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love it. Like, who am I? What am I doing?
And where am I going?
Where am I going?
Why am I here? This is another phrase of sort of one of my mantras that I think started this summer. That was this. Let's see. Obviously, I hadn't said it lately. How do God and life want to express themselves through me?
Beautiful.
Because it's different. It's different than when I was teaching at the school. It's different than when I was a student. It's different than when I was a single mother with little kids. This is a whole new phase, wave. And certainly that's true, I think, culturally and globally. This is such a huge time of change.
Yeah.
How does life and God want to move through me and express through me now? And everything that requires of us, right? Letting go of past self-identities. It's kind of moving, isn't it? So,
Wow. So you are in that moment of your life right now. And thank you for being honest and for being like, really like, this is where am I? Because a lot of people might be in that moment.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And so let me just follow that up for 1 second. How does healing want to come through me now? Like, one of the feelings that I've been having is okay, I've been doing this healing work, been doing it for a long time, in the healing room, got the healing table, got the music going. And there's a part of me that's going, I want to take this down into the trenches. Okay, all of us, are like so fortunate to have gotten to go to this school. We're so fortunate.
mm-hmm.
Okay, how do we take this where they are less fortunate? And what would it look like? It might not look like going out and doing healings on the street, although I've done that before. But what does it look like to take power of this work, this amazing work that we are so blessed, so fortunate to have learned and incorporated? How do we take it to the streets? The trenches is the word. It's like, what's important I get so excited about it. Actually, I get sort of agitated in a good way about it. How do we take this, the people who have not a clue about what we do? And it might look different.
It might look completely different. Yeah. Yeah. Laurie.
How do we take it to the trenches? And what might it look like? Because it feels to me that we are in this world that we need to take it to the trenches. We need to take it to the streets. I've never been an activist, really. I did some sit-ins in the Vietnam War, but I didn't take it to the streets.
Uh-huh.
How do we take healing to the streets?
Well, that might be your next step then.
Yes.
Yeah.
How would you take it to the streets? Okay, you were about to change the subject. Sorry.
Well, you know what? In the way that I live my life, in the way that I lead my life, in the way that it's like everywhere that I go, I think I am taking healing with me.
Yes.
Like wherever, at the bank, wherever, at the supermarket, whenever you touch someone and say hi, or I don't know. I think we, as you said, being fortunate to know this work, we are conscious that when we touch someone, if we have the intention to send love, then it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
listen to this great analogy. I think it's an analogy that I heard today. A friend sent me this. It was from his spiritual teacher. And the teacher was saying, so you think you don't make a difference? Just let me show you this. I don't know if he showed it or said it. And he said, you have one lit candle and one unlit candle. And when you bring the lit candle to the unlit candle, what happens?
Mm-hmm.
It lights. It doesn't unlight the lit candle.
Mm-hmm.
It lights the unlit candle. So that I'm with you every time we bring ourselves with our innate light. It can't be anything but healing, right?
It can be anything with,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, love that affirmation. And so how you right now, in this moment of your life, in this moment of being in the unknown, of not being sure what's next, how you are living the Brennan healing science?
Well, I think we just said it, right? What you and I just said is really what it is. Sorry, something just happened. That wasn't supposed to happen. Boy, lots of technical interference. I'm sorry. Get back to you. Sorry.
So you have your practice still.
Yeah. So I still have my practice. I work both in person and long distance. I work hands-on healing, the basic hands-on healing, as well as a BIP practice, the Brennan Integrated Practitioner Practice. I work with people all over the world. I do some teaching. Gosh, there's a whole thing. I wish I could tell you about this. We'll have to have another time to talk about some research that I just got to do out in California at the Institute of Noetic Sciences. That's pretty exciting. Whole nother time. We'll have part 2 sometime.
Okay.
And as you said, living the light and living the work is really probably the most tender way of carrying this work into the world. I don't know.
So to finish this interview, Laurie, what would you say to the graduates? A final saying.
Oh, wow. I guess the first thing that comes to me is I would say thank you to them, because my work with the students, really the most wonderful work I could ever imagine being fortunate enough to do, except for the DLMs. But the students themselves, thank you. That's the first thing. Secondly, I would say just keep doing the work. Keep doing the internal work. And keep asking the questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing? Where am I going? Why am I just, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And keep listening. Keep shining your light. That's the main thing, right? Keep shining your light.
Keep shining your light. Keep lighting candles around you.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay. Laurie, thank you very much for your time. And yes, we get to do part 2 of this interview.
I'd love to tell you about that research. It was amazing.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching.
So much love.
So much love. Bye.